At the very start of my month-long Europe trip, I had a 24-hour layover in Singapore, which I used as an opportunity to have a solo travel day. As cringy as this might sound, I was really anticipating this flight to Singapore because it was my first ever time flying in business class.
This is part one of my more than 24-hour journey to London. First thing I'm going to do once I land is to drop off my luggage because I have around 24 hours in Singapore where I'm going to do some sightseeing and I don't want to be carrying around my luggage. So after I drop it off, I'm going to head to the hostel and hopefully everything goes to plan. This is the little barrier thing that divides my seat from the rest of the seats in business. And over on this side, you've got the media screen, it's your standard plain entertainment system. It's got some new movies. I just watched Dune, which was so good. Here you've got a little expandable tray table, and then off to the right here, there's this like electronics drawer thing that here, there's this little like remote controller for the TV. But here below is the seat controller. I haven't yet adjusted the seat all the way back because I've got a few bags down below, which makes it hard for my seat to recline all the way. Over here is like a little table section. I think the best thing about business is literally just all the space you get, which is I guess what you're paying for. And then here, there's this little cosmetics bag, and we've got a eye mask, some socks, and other toiletries, which I will be using in my hostel tonight. And then you've just got a bottle of water and a mirror, which I honestly didn't even realize was there. Up here, besides the little locker, we've got a reading light, and last but most important part, this is the seat. Very standard. It's like a giant pillow as well.
The food on this flight was honestly quite disappointing and plain tasting, but maybe I'm just used to the ultra processed crap they give you in economy. Anyway, I tried napping but couldn't fall asleep, so I watched a few movies including Crazy Rich Asians for no other reason than because, I was heading to Singapore and this movie is set in Singapore, so it got me hyped to see the city. Overall, I think that the business class flight was worth it for me, even though I didn't really get in a nap, which I think would have been the main advantage of the reclining seat and all the extra space they give you. My first night in Singapore went mostly to plan, with a few hiccups, starting with the fact that I took a while to figure out how to install the eSIM on my phone, so by the time I left the airport it was past midnight, and in very few cities would I feel safe travelling solo at this time of the night, but it felt extremely safe in Singapore. This was my first time staying in a hostel, so I was somewhat nervous, but the capsule style of the room meant that I had lots of privacy and it didn't feel like I was sharing the space with like 6 other strangers. I've always wanted to stay in a capsule hotel, and I think this was a great introduction to capsule hotels. This room had everything you'd need for an overnight stay, and you even get a welcome package with this cute little brochure with some affirmations. Space, like I just have like my papa hanging there and all my bags next to me. I'm gonna like sleep with my money belt on me because I'm a bit paranoid, even though it's Singapore and like very unlikely to get robbed here, but you just never know, I guess. I woke up early the next day to explore the city by myself. I highly recommend this hostel. It's in a very central location and the facilities were all very well maintained and clean. I don't know why I decided to film this tour of the bathroom, but as you can see, great facilities.
I am currently on my way to a matcha cafe, and it's like really quiet right now in Singapore. I don't know if people in the city are just not morning people, but the streets are like super quiet. Also, anywhere you go, there's always a Starbucks, and and of course a 24-hour McDonald's.
I got a bit distracted from my mission to find the matcha and decided to walk along the riverbank, which was so nice because it was quite quiet and empty.
So I'm currently by the river. Today, the Singapore River has been reborn. New developments generate renewed activity while conserved buildings lend charm and help to preserve the memory of the river's past. Well, I still haven't found the matcha place, but was a nice little detour. So I found the matcha place, but it's unfortunately closed today because it's a Sunday, and I suppose it's because I'm in the central business district, which means that, yeah, most things are shut on a weekend. Same thing happens in Sydney. I thought Singapore would be a bit different. So this used to be a post office apparently, and I think someone's getting married today. So cool. I wonder what this is.
In an attempt to find the famous Merlion statue, I got lost because for whatever reason my Google Maps suggested I walk through this hotel.
So I kind of just walked into this hotel, and it has a really nice garden. Basically, I'm lost right now trying to find this park. Found an exit. Well, I don't think this is meant to be an official exit, but okay. This is honestly pretty good. Good enough. Singapore is a nice place to walk in because you just always feel really safe, but at the same time it's super humid, so I don't think I can do this for long. I'm not sure why all the tourists were gathered on this side of the river when from where I'm standing you get a really, really nice view of the hotel and the Art Science Museum. There's like no other tourists here. It's great. I'm kind of worried that I'm going the wrong way as well. There's a lot of construction here, so maybe Google Maps just gave me the wrong direction yet again. This is like such an interesting bridge. I think it's called the Helix Bridge. I don't know if that's because it looks like a strand of DNA. Finally found the right walkway to get into this Art Science Museum, but it's so bloody hot.
Since it was so damn humid outside, I decided to enjoy the air conditioning within the Art Science Museum.
So I just got tickets to the New Eden exhibition, which I believe is like a sci-fi exhibition.
I went to a special exhibition called New Eden as I'm a big sci-fi fan, and this exhibition basically explores artworks within the sci-fi genre that are created by female artists.
This is like the coolest exhibition. The wall behind me is like a history of sci-fi, just super interesting.
There were honestly some pieces I didn't quite understand, such as this short film on artificial sense. But nonetheless, I think it was a pretty cool experience given some of the exhibits were also interactive.
Currently in a gaming chair.
There was also an interesting short film at the beginning of the exhibit which looked at how Asian actors are often cast as side characters in sci-fi films, even though often these films are set in Asian cities, particularly in the cyberpunk genre. I think Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell are classic examples of this happening. After this exhibition, I decided to see the Future World exhibition, which reminded me a lot of the TeamLab borderless experience I had in Tokyo. I think because I already experienced TeamLabs, this was sort of underwhelming, but I did have a lot of fun scanning in my own drawings and seeing it come to life on the big screen. I felt like a lot of the pieces within this exhibition were designed to be photographed for Instagram. Although I did have a lot of fun here, I don't think it's worth it for the price I paid, which is around 25 Singaporean dollars. It might be worth it for you if you haven't been to TeamLab before, but if you have, I don't think it's really worth it.
Somehow somehow stumbled into another expensive shopping mall because these seem to be everywhere in Singapore.
There seems to be shopping malls just everywhere in Singapore, and unfortunately most of the shopping malls I stumbled on, like this one, were very upscale, so I just window shopped. I then took the metro to a hawker centre for lunch. Hawker centres are usually communal open-air food halls that sell a variety of food for reasonable prices. These centres are usually quite sanitary as well, so you don't have to worry about food poisoning. I got myself this thunder tea rice, which is a traditional Hakka dish consisting of rice that's served with different veggies, herbs and nuts, paired with this tea-based soup. Not only was it delicious, but I think it was quite a healthy dish as well. After lunch, I took a bus to Joo Chiat, which is on the east coast side of Singapore, because I wanted to see the more residential side of the city, which is something I didn't get to do the last time I was here because we only had a short layover. This area felt very vibrant with some beautifully preserved heritage homes and shops. There were lots of unique small cafes and of course tutoring ads were everywhere.
So I was walking to the streets and I stumbled upon this visitor centre, and they sell a lot of cute handcrafted goods and clothing, and I actually saw a lady sewing together the clothes in the shop, which is really cool.
I think the area was historically a hub for the Peranakan community, and you can definitely see this today in the distinctive, colourful Peranakan style homes, which reflect a blend of Chinese, Malay and European architectural influences. So I did some more window shopping before heading to Haji Lane, which is in the Kapon Glam neighbourhood. It's a narrow street that's known for being the hipster area of Singapore, and I feel like every city I've ever been to has one of these streets or areas. I also saw a sign for free ice cream and just couldn't resist, so here's me enjoying my free ice cream. Also stumbled into this typewriter store where you can try out a bunch of different typewriters. There was a nice old man who ran this place, and the typewriters here are actually from his daughter's personal collection. His daughter apparently goes around the world collecting unique typewriters, which is such a cool hobby. So here they do typewriting workshops, and you can even create your own diary entry or letter using any of the many different types of typewriters here. And wow, that was quite a tongue twister. After looking at the murals and getting my eyebrows done at a salon here, I ended up taking the bus back to the hostel because, as you can see, it just started pouring and I had no umbrella. After the rain finally stopped, I headed to Chinatown for dinner. I was tempted to eat at the Maxwell Hawker Centre, but since I already tried eating there last time, I wanted to try somewhere new. So I found a decently priced Chinese restaurant nearby and got myself some xiaolong bao and sweet and sour soup. It was honestly nothing super special, but filled me up for the long flight ahead. And that takes me to the end of my solo day in Singapore. I was so tired by the end of the day that I was basically just non-functional at the airport, and it's a miracle I made it on the plane. I treated myself to some kaya toast at the airport before getting on my 14-hour flight. It was definitely not a pleasant flight, especially in contrast to the business flight I had earlier, but as we approached the Alps, I was just amazed by this glorious sunrise. And this is the only instance where I'm glad I made the decision to opt for a window rather than aisle seat.